Hello students, I hope you all are keeping good. So today we will continue with lesson 4, Introduction to Business Organization, part 2, and in this we will start with the difference between public enterprise, private enterprise and joint sector. The ownership of public enterprise is by the government, private by the private person, and joint sector both government and private. The management of public enterprise is done by the government. The private enterprise is managed by the private owners, and joint sector both by the government and the private. The public enterprise 51% or more is capital is been invested by the government. In private sector it is all by the private investors, and joint sector both by the government and private. The object of public enterprise is to provide service to society, whereas the private enterprise wants to earn money as objectives, and the joint sector has both the objective of earning profit and giving service to the society. The public enterprise is controlled by the parliament. The private enterprise has no control by the government, and joint sector may or may not be controlled by the government. The audit in the government, the audit in the public enterprise is done by the comptroller and auditor general, and it is very compulsory. The private enterprise is been audited by the practicing chartered accountants, but the auditing is not so compulsory. And in joint sector, the qualified auditors, they do the auditing. The accountability of the public sector, they have to be accountable or answerable to the public. The private enterprise, they have to be accountable to their own owners, and the joint sector has to be answerable to both the government and it has to be answerable to the government and both to the private owners. Forms of private sector organizations. The main forms of ownership in private sectors are as follows. The first one is sole proprietorship. In this form of ownership, one person provides the capital, bears the risk and independently manages the business. It is the most natural, the oldest and the simplest and most popular form of business organization. So by the word sole itself we can understand single trader or single ownership in the business. So there is one person only who brings the capital, bears the whole risk and manages the business. It is one of the oldest and simplest form of business organization. The second one is joint Hindu family firm. It is a business owned and controlled by a joint Hindu family which consists of the father and his son, grandson and great grandson. The head of the family is called Karta, manages the business for the benefit of the family as a whole. So in joint Hindu family firm, it is owned and controlled by joint Hindu family. It consists of a father, his son, grandson and great grandson. The head of the family, whoever manages the business for the benefit of the whole family, is called Karta. The liability of every member of the family except Karta is limited to his share in the family's asset. So the liability of every member of the family who is in the business, their shares are limited except for the Karta. Now limited liability means limited only to the share or the asset of the family. Share in the asset of the family, the liability is limited to that. You don't have to give more than that. So every other member of the family except Karta's share is limited. That means the Karta share can go as unlimited. Hindu law has granted independent and corporate existence to the family. Partnership. In this form of ownership, two or more persons enter into a contract to carry on some lawful business jointly and to share its profit. Each partner is considered as the agent of the firm and of its partner. The firm has no legal entity separate from that of partners. Each partner is jointly and individually liable for the debts of the firm to an unlimited extent. The number of partners cannot be more than 10 in case of banking business and 20 in other types of business. A partnership which is set up for specified period or for specific object is known as joint venture. It is automatically dissolved on the expiry of period or on completion of the object. So here the partnership starts with two or more person who enter into a verbal or written contract to start up a business jointly and share the profit and bear the losses, and it has got no legal separate entity from the partners, and which means it is the firm and the partners are same, and each partner is equally liable to bear all the debts to an unlimited extent. It can go across the assets that they own, and in case of banking sector, the members cannot be more than 10, and in other type of business the maximum is 20. And a partnership which is set up for specified period or some special object like construction of road or building, it is called as joint venture, and it automatically gets dissolved, or it whenever the specified object is completed, the partnership automatically gets closed. So here the partners, they work as the agent or they work as the for the other partner. Not only they work for the partnership, but they work on the behalf of the other partner, what we call as implied authority of a partner. Joint stock company. It is an incorporated association of two or more persons. It has a distinct legal entity which is separate from the identity of its member. Therefore, a company enjoys unlimited life. Its continuity is independent of the lives of its members. Its management and control lies in the hands of the board of directors consisting of the elected representatives of the members. There are several types of companies. So the joint stock company is association of two or more person, and it has got a separate identity than that of its member. The company has got a lawful separate identity like an artificial person, and the company enjoys perpetual succession, which means even though there is death or retirement of any members, its life of the business company is not affected. It enjoys unlimited life, and the management and the control lies in the hands of the boards of director who are elected representatives of the members and who hold the shares of the company. There are several types of company on the basis of mode of incorporation, on the basis of liability of members and transferability of shares, on the basis of public interest, on the basis of ownership and control, on the basis of nationality and jurisdiction. So we will be learning about these various types of joint stock company in the upcoming chapters as we learn further. Cooperative societies. It is a society organized with the purpose of rendering service to its members and to the public in general. It is organized on the principle of mutual self-help. As an incorporated association of persons, it enjoys perpetual succession, perpetual life. It has distinct identity and liability of its members is limited. There are several types of cooperative societies. So the cooperative society is organized with the purpose of providing service to its members and to the public in general. So this cooperative society is with the motto of each for all and all for each, which means that if you need help, you have to give help. So such kind of cooperative societies are being formed to provide service to its members, and there are several types of cooperative societies, like consumers cooperative societies, where the daily requirement goods are provided at reasonable price to the middle class and the lower class people who are exploited by the businessmen. Like Super Bazaar is the example of consumers cooperative society, which is controlled by the government. Then we have producers cooperative society, where the industries and the manufacturing cooperative societies, they can easily get the raw material, and it is a common, the members produce goods which are common itself in their houses. Like we have got Amul. So the best example we can say the Amul, which is the brand of milk and milk products, which was set up in Anand, Gujarat. And we have got several types of cooperative societies, like housing cooperative societies, cooperative farming societies, credit cooperatives. So these also we will learn in the upcoming chapters. So the first form of private sector organization was sole proprietorship, single ownership, a single man putting the capital, investing the capital, bearing all the risk and managing the business. Second one, partnership, two or more joining together with verbal or with written agreement, and there is no distinct legal separate identity, and the liabilities are unlimited. Joint stock company, association of two or more person, it enjoys perpetual life and it has got separate legal entity, and the management is done by the elected board of directors. Cooperative society, it is organized with the objective of providing service to the members and to the public, and it has also got a facility of limited liabilities like joint stock company. Choice of the form of business organization. Now when you choose the business organization, it is a very difficult decision, because you have to see what are your rights, what are your liabilities. Like it is not only you have to see that you start the business, you have to even see that how much will be your liability, how much you will have to owe to others. So each form of business has its own benefits and merits and demerits, the shortcomings and the benefits. So depending on the merits and demerits, the person who wants to start the business organization decides or makes the choice of which kind of business organization they want to start. So we have gone through 5 forms of private sector organization: sole proprietorship, joint Hindu family firm, partnership, and joint stock company, and cooperative society. So let us see how the choice of the form of business organization is done. The first one is nature of business. The nature of business has an important bearing on the choice of the form of ownership. Businesses providing that service, example small retailers, hairdressing salons, tailors, restaurants, etc., are professional services. Example doctors, lawyers, etc., depend for the success upon the personal attention to the customers and the personal knowledge and skills of the owners, and are therefore generally organized as proprietary concerns. So where there is a single person who is handling the whole business, like small retailer, hairdressing saloons, or a small tailor shop, like doctors and lawyers. They personally attend the customers, and with their personal knowledge and skills they do the business. So such kind of organization can be formed as a sole proprietor concern. Business activities requiring pooling of funds and skills, example wholesale trade, accounting firms, tax consultants, are better organized as partnership. Manufacturing organizations of large size are most commonly set up as private and public. Size and area of operations. Large-scale enterprises catering to national and international markets can be organized more successfully as private or public companies. The reason is that large companies require large financial and managerial resources. So, the large-scale enterprise, it provides service to the national and international market, and it can be successfully organized by the private and public companies because it requires huge finance and managerial resources. The small and medium scale firms are generally set up as partnership and proprietorship. Small scale enterprises like hairdressers, bakeries, laundries, etc. caters limited market and requires small capital. The risk and liability is not heavy and can easily be handled by the owner himself or herself. Therefore, the owner likes to be his own master by organizing as a sole proprietor. So, a small scale enterprise where the owner, they themselves want to handle all the management and the risk and liability is not much, the owner will like to organize the business as a sole proprietor. Medium-sized enterprise and professional firms, example health clinics, chartered accountants, tax consultants, are predominantly partnership. They pool their capital and expertise to operate on a large scale and to avail of the benefits of specialization. So the professional firms and the medium-sized enterprises like hospitals, health clinics, tax consultants, chartered accountants, they come as a partner because they pool the capital together and their expertise together so that they can get more benefit from the specialization. Large scale enterprise, an enterprise involving heavy risk. Engineering firms, departmental stores, five-star hotels, chain stores, etc. are normally organized as companies. These enterprises require huge capital, heavy risk and expert managers. So here the large scale in enterprises or enterprises which is involved in heavy risk like engineering, big departmental stores, big chain of stores, 5-star, 7-star hotels are generally organized as companies because they require huge capital and heavy risk, and there has to be expert managers. Number 3, degree of control desired. A person who desires that control of business prefers proprietorship rather than the company because there is separation of ownership and management in companies. So if you want to have a direct control to the business, you only want to manage the business, so preferring proprietorship is more better than the company. In the company, ownership and the management separates. The management is done by the board of directors. In case of owner is not interested in direct personal control but in large scale operation, it would be desirable to adopt the company form of ownership. But if you don't want to have personal contact but you want to have a large scale business, so it is better to adopt the company form of ownership. Number 4, amount of capital required. The funds required for establishment of operation are important impact on the choice. Enterprises requiring heavy investment, example that is iron and steel plants, etc., should be organized as joint stock company. So where there is huge fund required, heavy investment required, so it is better to organize as a joint stock company, because in joint stock company you can pool in the funds by selling the shares to the public. Requirements of growth and expansion should also be considered in making the choice. There is maximum scope of expansion in public company. So if requirement is that you want to grow and expand your business in near future, so it is better to start with a public company. Proprietorship or partnership is better choice where funds required initially are small and scope of expansion is not desired. So if you don't want to expand your business but you want to limit your funds, you can go with proprietorship and partnership as a choice of the business. Number 5, degree of risk involved. The volume of risk and willingness of owners to bear it is an important consideration. A single individual may have large financial resources sufficient for medium scale enterprise, but due to unlimited personal liability, he may like to organize as proprietorship or partnership. So, the risk, the amount of risk and the willingness of risk that the owner agrees to bear. So the business is all about risk from the very first day, the unknown risk which comes on the way in the business. It is very important for any business to start, any businessman to start a business who is willing to take the risk. And if there is an individual who has got large financial resources enough to start a medium scale enterprises, but due to unlimited personal liability, he or she may like to organize as proprietorship or partnership. There is maximum diffusion of risk in public company as liability is limited, but an enterprising individual not afraid of unlimited liability may go for sole proprietorship. In public company, the liability is distributed as per the shares of the members. So we can say the liability is limited. It will not extend to a certain amount. But if the individual loves to take risk, he or she is not afraid of taking risk and can go for unlimited liability, they can opt for sole proprietorship. Division of surplus. A sole trader receives all profit of his business, but he also bears all the risk. If a person is ready to bear unlimited liability and desires maximum share of profit, proprietorship and partnerships are preferable. So the sole trader, they take all the benefits. They bear all the risk and they take the profits alone. And if the person is ready to bear unlimited liability but they want to get maximum share of profit, they can go with proprietorship or partnership, which they can prefer as business organization. Number 7, duration of business. Temporary and ad hoc ventures can be organized as proprietorship and partnership as they are easy to form and dissolve, but they lack continuity and stability. So a temporary ventures for a certain time, or ad hoc, it is comes from the Latin phrase which means for this purpose or as needed. So this kind of ventures are organized by the business organization and governments. Frequently they form as an ad hoc committee, like to study a particular problem or to provide recommendation or to design a website or to design a new marketing theme, or for managing the product or planning the company event. So ad hoc ventures are for some purpose, for a time being. Such type of organization has been done, a committee has been set. So if there is a temporary or ad hoc ventures, it can be better with proprietorship and partnership, because it is very easy to form and dissolve, close down, but there is lack of continuity and stability. Enterprise of permanent nature can be organized as joint stock companies and cooperative because they enjoy perpetual succession. So a permanent nature of business can be organized as joint stock or cooperative because they enjoy perpetual succession. Perpetual succession means unlimited life. Even if there is death or retirement of any members, it doesn't affect the life of the company until unless lawfully or with any proper reasons the company has to be shut down. Till then the company has got unlimited life, perpetual succession. Number 8, government regulation and control. Proprietorship and partnerships are subject to little regulations and controls by the government. So proprietorship and partnership, they have less control by the government. Only in certain cases the government controls over them. Companies and cooperatives are on other hand subject to severe restrictions and have to publish their accounts. They have to present their accounts to the government. It is also easier to maintain secrecy of business in case of proprietorship and partnership. Since there are single and less number of members, so the secret can be maintained in the business, which is proprietorship and partnership. Number 9, flexibility of operations. Business which requires high degree of administrative flexibility should better be organized as proprietorships and partnerships. Flexibility of operations is linked with internal organization of a business. So if you want to have a better flexibility in running the business, in administering the business, administrative flexibility means there is quick and prompt decisions taken. It doesn't take time. Like in proprietorship and partnership, where there is a single owner or few number of owners, there is more flexibility in the decision and administration, because the decision all depends on the internal organization of the business. The internal organization of sole proprietorship is much more simple and less elaborate than that of internal organization of joint stock company. So the internal organization of joint stock company may be more kind of rigid because there are more members in the board of directors who can go for different decisions, and so it might take time to decide anything, and so there can be less flexibility in administration. So let us look into all the different choice that can be made to form a business organization. Choice of the form of business organization. The first way you can choose is the nature of the business. Like if you are alone handling the business, then it can be sole proprietorship. But if you want to pool some skills and funds, it is like tax consultants, wholesale trade, so partnership is better. But if you want to have more large size business, then private and public companies. Size and operation, size and area of operation. So if you want to cater to the national and international market, then large scale enterprise or public or private company is better. If you want to bear all the risk, then partnership and proprietorship is better. degree of control desired. If you want to directly control the business rather than separating it from ownership, then proprietorship and partnership is better. But if you want to give the management to others, then it is better to set a public or a private company. Amount of capital required. Less amount of capital is required in proprietorship and partnership compared to the big unit companies or the public companies which require heavy investments. The risk in the partnership and proprietorship is much more because the liabilities are unlimited compared to the companies. The profit is all enjoyed by the sole trader in the sole proprietorship. The partnership, they share their profit, but still the benefit is enough more, but in company it depends on the shares. The duration of business, like if it is a temporary or ad hoc venture, venture made for a certain purpose, then it will be dissolved after the work is been accomplished. But if there is a permanent business, you want to start a permanent business, you need to start with a joint stock company or a cooperative society. Government regulation and control. The public has got government control, they have to be accountable to the public, whereas the secrecy can be controlled in the private and in the proprietorship and the partnership. Flexibility. The sole trader administration is more flexible because the internal management is controlled by the sole trader, so there is a prompt and a quick decision, whereas the management of the joint stock company or cooperative can take time, and so the flexibility can be less in the case of the public companies. Thank you for